Hi everyone. I just wanted to say hello and see how people are doing on this Monday night. A very exciting day in my life because it's National Dog Day, so I figured we'd talk about that a little bit, but I'll let some people log on here before I really get going in terms of what you need to know for late news tonight coming up, what stories we're working on, what is going on in the news. So yeah. Hope everyone's having a good Monday though, a good start to the work week. I know it's hot outside. We're all talking about that, triple digit temperatures, but there is a little relief coming in sight. So, all right, cool. We've got some people watching. Hi Lawrence, hi Greg, hi Matt, hi Vicky, hi Chris. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, oh, someone's watching from Kansas. Wow. It's got to be late where you are. So yeah, we are obviously working on, well, it's not too late, it's like midnight. We are working on several stories, obviously, for late news tonight coming up here in just a couple hours. So I wanted to kind of dive into what those stories are. But of course, first, I have to say happy National Dog Day to all you dog parents out there. If you want to go see my story of Filson and I, just go on my Instagram and click through the stories. You'll see when I adopted him, how he looks now compared to then, all that kind of stuff. Hi JJ, hi Steve. Who else is watching here? Hi Ed, hi Bruce. Awesome. All right, cool. Well, hi Jenna. I miss you so much. We are going to just dive into it then. So coming up tonight, we do have some important stories for you to know. Clearly the weather is a big talker, so we're really making a point with that. Monica's working on her forecast right now, and this is like the time of the night where we really all do our pre-production stuff, which is we're recording things, we're getting the show ready, we're prepping things, we're doing all that. So if you want to see a behind the scenes situation, let me know what you would like to see and I can show you. But I already did kind of mine, and I have to still do my story, but long story short, that's what everyone's doing right now. So Chris is snacking, Monica's working on her forecast, and I'm working on my story. Okay, so we do have a really sad situation in Walnut Grove where a young man was killed. The Sacramento County Sheriff's Office is looking into this as a homicide case because he was lit on fire, sent to the hospital, and later died. So a sad situation, obviously, just given the severity of the case and what really happened there. So the new information tonight, we're clearly kind of diving into what you need to know in terms of what happened and what we know from investigators, but 3 people have been detained because of this, and the Sheriff's Office is saying that they don't believe there's any more outstanding people involved in this investigation. So yeah, 3 people detained. They're still trying to figure out exactly what happened, but we were there. We did get video from the scene. We'll walk you through what you need to know. Matt, or Monica, oh, she's not there anymore. I'll tell her, Matt. But I'm right there with you. If we could get some cooler temperatures, that would be ideal. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Zach. Oh, you're asking where Filson is? Filson is not here right now. We have to get ready for the show, so yeah, not a good time to bring the pup around, but he enjoyed his park today and a walk and all of that fun stuff. All right, so yeah, so we're talking about the Walnut Grove fire that you all probably have seen the headlines on tonight. I'm just making sure the comments are coming up correctly. Okay, and then we're also revisiting what happened at the Rio Americano High School, where the racist posts over the weekend. We were kind of following this, and then today students met with school leaders to talk about it, so giving you an update on that. There's also this situation in Lodi, at a Lodi school, involving, I can't really say too much because this is like a story we're working on currently, so I think the script's not 100% done yet at the moment, but what you need to know is that a student was told to go home 2 days in a row, and then showed up the 3rd day, and because he was told to go home because of great bodily injury, we're trying to still figure out exactly what the school has to say about this, but that's pretty much the situation. And then this kid was assaulted. So tonight the family is talking to us about what happened, what they would like to see happen because of this. We're trying to figure out more details in terms of the school's situation, what that looks like, but we do have video of this fight. So we'll show you that, but of course we have to be careful with the language that's in this fight and what the fight video shows. So we do have some new video for you to show with that story. Mike Duffy is the one kind of handling that story tonight. So I know he's working on his script right now. Like, I just opened it up and there's nothing in there yet. So it's a work in progress, as the news always is. All right, and then you may have heard about this, but California is really looking to change the voting age to 17 instead of 18. This bill keeps making moves forward. So we're going to tell you where this bill is right now. Why? A lot of people wonder what's a year difference, but you ask a lot of people who are 17 and 18, this really matters to them. And it matters to a lot of, potential lawmakers too, and politicians as well, to increase the amount of people voting. That's always something that people are talking about. Tropical Storm Dorian is another piece of the weather puzzle, because where it's going to potentially hit is an area that, let's see here, I'm pulling up everything, in Puerto Rico. So that's what a lot of people are keeping their eyes on because of Hurricane Maria and what happened there. And then we have some other stories. We're really diving into the immigration crisis at the border. We have Lilia Luciana, who's been at the border pretty much for a really long time covering this, but she was there for several weeks on end, doing kind of embed program, if you want to say that, for our parent company, and came back with some incredible stories. So we're sharing that. My story, I think we're getting to. I'm just going through the rundown so you guys can see, or so you can hear what I'm talking about. My story is about this map that is out there right now that pretty much looks at areas in California, all across the country, areas that have a high risk for evacuation issues. Maybe there's there's less roads, less ways in, less ways out, and a lot of people that live in these areas. So these are communities that are, probably at risk for a natural disaster, but also at risk for an issue if they were to have to evacuate a lot of people at once. South Lake Tahoe is one of those places. Clearly Paradise was one of those places, is still one of those places, because nothing has changed with the infrastructure up there. But the population has changed, obviously. So yeah, we're looking at South Lake Tahoe, what that area is doing. We already did that story about what the fire chief was talking about with this interactive map they have been released, as well as just more of a plan in place to evacuate South Lake Tahoe in a moment's notice. Clearly we always talk about fire season because we're in the thick of fire season right now, but floods are also a huge concern given our area and the topography here and the past and the history. So earthquakes too. So we are talking about that. There's a couple other stories in here, but those are really the headlines for you. There's a lot going on tomorrow in terms of PG&E, the investigation into them. We are going to have Becca Hobegger, who's been covering this for us pretty extensively. She's going to be following this story all week long for us. So it is a busy night. We do have a lot going on, and obviously in 2 hours things could really change drastically. Let's hope not, but breaking news often does happen later in the night. So so we do have all of those things working right now, and I know a lot of people are probably wondering about the map, which I'm going to get up here in a hot second. I had it already open, but like if I could show you, let's see if we can zoom into South Lake Tahoe, then you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So let's see, let me turn this around. All right, so South Lake Tahoe, this isn't the story that I'm working on, but South Lake Tahoe's here. This is the general area. Now, it's red because this is one of the areas in this map that has the potential to have a risk in terms of mass evacuation. So, and why is that, you may be wondering? Well, the population's a little bit over 20,000 people, as you see here. There are 9 exits out of South Lake Tahoe. So those exits aren't shown on here, but if you live in the area or have been, you probably know some of the main ones. But why it's more of a issue is because people use the main road, which, again, is most likely Lincoln Highway out of here. 48% of people would use that to evacuate. So again, if that means half of 21,000 people have to evacuate in a moment's notice, the road is going to get really clogged, which is what we saw let me flip this back around, which is what we saw when the campfire happened in Paradise. So, you know, people were really, there was really only one way out of Magalia, Paradise. There's a couple more ways, but the main road there, Skyway, got really backed up. And that's what led to gridlock on those roads. And yeah, so, you know, it's an important thing for people to know if you live in a rural area, even if you don't, just to see if your community is on this map and if there's something your community is doing about it. Of course, if there is, we would like to know, and maybe we can do a story with you about that. So, but yeah, we're also talking about like the other area that I wanted to mention because I think it's relevant is showing like Knight's Landing, for example, an area that's in the valley. You know, fire risk obviously is always there, but this is more of like a flood risk. That would be something they would see. Yeah, so we're talking about all of that tonight on Late News Tonight, and I probably need to scoot and do my production, what I have to get done for the 11 o'clock. So yeah, and you guys don't seem to be chatting too much now all of a sudden. Everyone stopped talking, but if you'd like to say something and say hi, let me know. Yeah, but it's a good Monday for news in terms of what we're working on for you. We've got a lot. Kimberly, you're asking about the foothills. Yeah, so, oh yeah, always. I mean, but everyone should be aware of how to evacuate quickly in terms of what areas, what roads that are not maybe the main roads. You know, if you live in the foothills, it's a good idea to know that because the fire risk is high. But looking at this map, there's no red zone for the foothills. There's South Lake Tahoe, there's Dollar Point, some of the Nevada side of Tahoe is red, but when it comes to like Auburn, Placerville, Pollock Pines, Grass Valley, all of those areas do not have a red shade when it comes to those locations. So that doesn't mean that they aren't on the list. Every single area is ranked here, but the red are the ones that are the highest risk. Like Sierra Village, for example, according to this map, 456 people live there. There are only 3 exits in and out, and people use the main road 91% of the time. Now, the way they got this data was pretty much tracking people who are allowing devices to track them, so that's interesting too. If you have your location services on while you're driving, you're using Waze, you're using maps, they were able to pull data from those sorts of media. So that's kind of how they got the data, which is fascinating too. So yeah, that's the story that I'm working on tonight. Going to show you the map, show you how it works, put the link, all of that fun stuff. I know it's, you know, not something that everyone wants to talk about because it's scary, but it's a good idea to know what to do in case you need to. Yeah, and Kimberly, you're right. There are a lot of places taking precautions, which is good to see, given the fact that, you know, we are in the thick of fire season. So, yeah, all right. Well, I hope everyone's having a good evening, and we'll see you for Late News Tonight in just, let's see, an hour and 45 minutes. Okay.